This next story is a bit heavy, but I think it's important that we discuss it, and I need to present you two sides. The first side of the story that you're going to see is what happened. And you may see something on this show, image in particular, that was not revealed in corporate media. The next part of this segment is, what does the law say and what can you do about it if you live in Ohio? So if you have not heard about this story, the Ohio dad revenge, there is a father by the name of Rodney Hinton who killed a police officer. This is after a police officer killed his son. This is a big story right now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get into what happened with the father, and then I'm going to explain what happened with his son.
Tonight across Ohio, flags at half-staff in honor of fallen Hamilton County Sheriff's Deputy Larry Henderson.
He was so well-liked and so well-known. We could fill this building with the law enforcement agencies that respect him, love him.
The recently retired 33-year veteran was working traffic patrol Friday afternoon.
I've got an officer now.
When police say he was intentionally struck by the father of a teen fatally shot the day before by an officer from a different department. Henderson later dying at the hospital.
There is a connection between these two incidents.
38-year-old Rodney Hinton Jr. is now behind bars and charged with aggravated murder. Court documents say the defendant drove across oncoming lanes of traffic through the intersection and directly at the deputy, who was wearing a fluorescent vest.
There are no evidence of skid marks. There are no evidence that he tried to avoid him.
In court, Hinton's public
This part right here, a lot of people are talking about how when he walked by, he looked the police officers right in the eye. And again, I have to say this because you know how YouTube can be. Sabby Sabs podcast does not condone violence. Made that very clear once again for YouTube, FYI. But notice how he seems to have no fear, right? Let's continue.
In court, Hinton's public defender calling this an emotionally charged situation. The crash happening less than 3 hours after his family says Hinton met with Cincinnati police to review body camera videos showing the shooting of his 18-year-old son, Ryan Hinton. The videos, now publicly released, show Hinton running and being shot by city police. Cincinnati police say the teen was armed and pointed a gun toward an officer who...
Pause. Hold on to that part. The teenager pointed a gun towards the officer. That part right there is going to be important.
Who was responding to a call of a stolen vehicle.
He's got a gun. He's got a gun.
Yeah, that's when he says he's got a gun. And you can see here's one of them running here. Here's an officer over here. Let me make sure because I don't want to show. Okay.
You're right. On your right.
Hinton was shot about 6 seconds after officers get out of their vehicles.
Go.
Pause right here. Okay. Everyone look at this image right here. So you can see here's the son right here. And it looks like he came through but in between the dumpsters, right? All right, there's the son right there. Now I paused right here to show you that image because that's the image that everybody keeps showing. But I have another image that's going to show you exactly where he got shot. Because what people don't understand, he was not shot right here. So everyone hold on to that. Now in this shot, and it is a little blurry, in this shot, I did not see a gun. But they also said when he was running, he dropped the gun. So I didn't see a gun here. But what does the law say? Let's come out for a little bit here. We're just going to fast forward. All right, and let's go ahead and bring this part back in.
He wasn't. He was scared. He tripped and fell. He must have been so scared. I'm so sorry, Ron.
We are very close family. This is killing us.
Tonight, the teen's family speaking out with their family attorneys who say they're investigating the shooting.
I'm angry because it shouldn't have never happened. I want to find out exactly what steps was taken in the protocol.
While also offering their condolences to the deputy they say was tragically killed.
In that statement, you made a point to notice and acknowledge the pain that the family of the fallen deputy is feeling as well. What was in your heart when you did that? Why did you find the need?
I was crying about what happened to the innocent officer, so that's all it's all about. It's all about healing each other.
And Shaquille Brewster joins us now from Cincinnati, Ohio. Shaq, the father in this case, Rodney Hinton Jr, is expected back in court tomorrow.
That's right, Ellison. We expect to see that suspect back in court tomorrow morning for a bond hearing. The state is essentially asking that he be held behind bars until his trial. We should note he has not entered into any plea just yet, and we're not expecting that to take place tomorrow. By the way, the funeral arrangements for neither his son nor the deputy that he's accused of killing have been set yet, though we're expecting that deputy's funeral to take place later this week, Ellison.
Okay, so I don't want people to get confused. I want to make this very clear. The officer that the father killed is not the officer that killed his son. So I just want to make that very clear so people aren't confused as to what is going on. But we want to look at this timeline a little bit here so we can see how these events actually played out with Ryan, who is the son. Okay, so if we're going through the timeline of the events, on May 1st, a Cincinnati police officer fired multiple shots, 2 of which hit and killed 18-year-old Ryan Hinton. Cincinnati Police Department Lieutenant Jonathan Cunningham sent out messages to media about the shooting. Right? So let's jump forward here. Cincinnati Police Chief Teresa held a press conference in the parking lot at the media staging area. So we'll show you something from the press conference in just a second. So during the press conference, this is what was said. Police approached the vehicle. Now, from what I understand, they said the vehicle was stolen. Okay, so it says that the fugitive apprehension squad, along with other uniformed officers, became aware of a stolen vehicle at the apartment complex on Warsaw. I'm going to pause there for a second. So far, I haven't seen any proof, any evidence provided that that vehicle was stolen. So I can't honestly say if it was or wasn't. Even if it was, I don't think that matters when you see the picture that I'm about to show you, when you see where he was actually shot. Going forward here, it says that when police approached the vehicle, 4 people ran from it. So there was 4 people. She said at least one of them was armed with a gun. Police chased the people who ran from the vehicle. Teresa goes on to say that one CPD officer discharged their weapon towards the person who had a gun, hitting and killing them. Teresa also said 2 of the other alleged suspects in the vehicle were arrested and 1 remained at large. So here's another thing. There are witnesses. This is part of the story some people have not mentioned, that the other people who were in the car, 2 of them were arrested. So possibly 1 or maybe both of them saw what happened. I want to bring up another thing. I said I don't know for sure if the car was stolen. I haven't seen any evidence presented to prove that. So there's that. 2, just because someone had a gun, how do you know they didn't have a permit to carry? How do you know they weren't a gun owner? These are all things to think about. Okay, let's go on here. Arrested that day were 19-year-old DeAnthony Bullocks and 18-year-old Jarrell Austin. Both are charged with receiving stolen property and obstructing official business. Around 7 p.m., Cincinnati police sent a press release to the media saying that they would hold a press conference following day at 11 a.m. to discuss more about the case. Now, this part here you need to hear as well. The family, which included his father at that time, saw the body cam footage. What we saw was disturbing. According to the prosecutors, Rodney Hinton Jr. left the police station after watching the video. So he did see the body cam footage. Rodney left the police station with other family members, left his vehicle in the parking lot of the police station. Just after 11 a.m., Teresa held the press conference showing clips of the body camera footage from the shooting that killed Ryan. The body camera footage was blurry and short. Just 6 seconds elapsed between when the suspects jumped from the vehicle and when the officer fired at Ryan. Clips and still images from officer body cameras show the people who were in the car scattered when police pulled in and trapped the suspect's stolen vehicle with their cruisers. Okay. Teresa said that officers saw Ryan carrying a gun. Officers interviewed as part of the investigation into the shooting said they heard the metal of the gun hit the ground when he fell. Okay. Ryan got back up and ran between the two dumpsters. An officer was already on the other side of the dumpsters with their gun drawn. Teresa said another officer involved in the chase alerted the officer who fired his gun that Ryan was armed. That's the officer on the video where you can hear him say, he's got a gun, he's got a gun. Here's the interesting part. The officer who fired the shots can be heard saying gun before multiple gunshots rang out. As shots are being fired, Ryan appears to run into a short chain link fence and fall forward over it. Teresa said officials believe the officer fired roughly 4 to 5 shots. Ryan was hit by 2 of those bullets. Teresa said he was hit once in the chest with the bullet exiting his back and once in the arm, but the bullet went through his arm and into his side. Okay. Let's get into this press conference. I want to show you the video that they showed. This gentleman captured this. He did a really good job capturing this, right? This video that they showed during the press conference is the blurry video, but we have some images to show you exactly where he was hit. Listen to this. This guy, again, his name is Richard Taylor. A shout out to him because he was able to capture the clear video.
This individual gets up, still has a firearm in his hand, and continues to run through the dumpsters.
All right, so you actually now, you see how clear that picture is a little clearer, but it's still blurry. Look how clear that picture is, but it's still blurry. And here's a still shot of that picture. Now you see how clear those trash cans are as opposed to these pictures right here. You see how blurry that one is?
Now that's because in the body cam footage, the officer and you, I saw the full video. I can't show the full thing on here, obviously, but I saw the full video. When the officer started running, the camera, the body camera's bouncing up and down. That's why the video is blurry.
And you see how clear that is, right? Blurry, clear. Let's go back to the video because I'm gonna show y'all something.
So these are some still photos. This is the officer who originally saw him with the firearm in his hand.
Now you see that picture right there. That is a still shot, right? That is still, you look at the trees in the background. They are much blurrier than that last photo.
Hand, calling it out. He runs through the dumpsters.
And right there, you see what they did right there? Look at the background of the trees. It's much blurrier. It's much blurrier than this. And also what they did was hide his body position. So this is the point where they're going to claim that he pointed the gun at the officer.
This officer knows that there's another officer here that is going to ultimately encounter him when he comes through the dumpsters. So he makes him aware of that. He shouts out to him, on your right, on your right. He's on your right. And that's where this individual comes out from between the dumpsters. This is the other officer, the one who fires the shot. This is his body camera as he approaches the scene.
And that part, you know, I can't show too much of that because that's the actual thing, right? Okay. So let me show you a close-up. Make sure we get this just right. Here we go.
This image right here. That is the last image that they showed you. But this is actually where the shooting happened. This is a never before seen photo.
Right there. So this is the image that people need to see. Now here, as you can see, you see the smoke from the gun right here? So there's the smoke and Ryan is right there. So remember the report that I just read to you, it said he ran into a chain link fence. There is no chain link fence right here next to the dumpster. So you know that when they shot him, if the report said when he was shot, he fell, like kind of fell into a chain link fence, there's no chain link fence next to that dumpster, which means he was not shot when he was in between the dumpsters. This is the point that I was trying to get across to people. He was shot here. And in this image, as you can see, his back is turned. That's not the front. That's not the side. That is the back. And you can see the smoke here, which means he was shot from behind. If his back is turned and he was shot from behind, how is he also pointing a gun? And where is the gun? They said the gun, they heard it fall, hit the ground when he fell, right? Okay, it is what it is. And by the way, I'm not here to say he did not have a gun. I have no evidence that shows he didn't. So I'm not here to say that. But what I am here to say is the report that I just read to you said when he was shot, he fell into a chain link fence. Okay, again, that means he was not shot between those two dumpsters. He's shot right here, as you can see the smoke, and his back was turned. In fact, if you want to see the actual, we have a close-up on the image here, because I shared this on Twitter to show people that the picture that they were showing you that was going around, notice they didn't show you where the smoke, when the smoke was coming from the gun. This is the part that's important for people to see. He was not shot. I'm going to say this again. He was not shot in between those dumpsters. He was shot when he exited those dumpsters right here. His back is turned. Now that we know that, you need to know that that is probably the same thing that the family saw. When the family saw the body cam footage, the response in the report was, they said they just don't understand how, they said it was problematic, right? Disturbing. What we saw was disturbing because this is what they saw. After his father saw this, I believe his father snapped. Some people are asking, can his father's crime be considered a crime of passion? I'm wondering if maybe his lawyer would try to go for a temporary insanity plea. This is what people are asking. Imagine if that was your kid. By the way, We don't know. Let's say the vehicle was stolen. We don't know if Ryan stole that vehicle. We don't know that. For all we know, his friends could have picked him up and he got in the car. We don't know if he was involved at all. This could have been one of those cases of wrong time, wrong place, because, and we've seen this happen before, where people have been in the store with their friends and one of their friends decides to shoplift and the security guard catches them and all of them get arrested, even though they weren't stealing, but their friend was. So we do not know if Ryan stole this car at all. And I'm seeing a number of people on social media who are saying his son stole a car and he's a thug, he's a criminal. None of these other people are mentioning that there were other people in that car. We don't know if Ryan was driving that car or if he was a passenger. But what we do know now is that he was shot from behind. And then there's this part, because now we got to go into the part that's not going to make people happy, and that's the law. What does the law say? We're looking at two different sources. We're going to look at the Police Brutality Center, and we're going to look at what a law firm has to say. Can police shoot a fleeing suspect? This is the part people need to pay attention to. Make this a little bit bigger. In most cases, the answer is no, unless it is a last resort to prevent imminent danger. It is generally unlawful for a police officer to shoot someone in the back, particularly if they are nonviolent and unarmed. However, the police are saying that he had a gun. So if he had a gun, if that is correct, and he had that gun, then he was not unarmed. This is the part of the law that people need to know about, because this was a shock to me too. I did not know this. I've said for years, if they're running away from you, they are not a threat. If they were running towards you, absolutely, they're a threat to you. But if they're running away from you, they're no longer a threat. The law says if they are unarmed and they are fleeing, not a threat. But if they are deemed to be imminent danger, which if you are armed, you are, and you may not necessarily be an imminent danger to the police, but you would be considered imminent danger to the public. And this is what I think the police are trying to go with. This is very important for people to see this law. And I'm trying to tell everybody, please, please, please educate your friends, your families. Please tell them about this, because a number of times I've heard people say if they're running away, the police can't shoot. This is not true. The law does not say that. If you are armed, you are considered imminent danger. Now, this is from the Police Brutality Center. Now I'm going to show you what the law firm says. Morgan & Morgan. Here we go. Can a cop shoot someone in the back? Police officers are trained to shoot fleeing persons only as a last resort if there is imminent danger. Uh-oh, there's that word again. Shooting someone in the back is generally, unlawful, especially if they are unarmed and non-violent. While some officials say a cop can shoot someone in the back in some circumstances, victims and their families could bring legal claims if using deadly force was unjustified. Let's highlight unjustified. So you saw two different ones here, the Police Brutality Center and Morgan & Morgan law firm. And both of them are saying that if it is imminent danger, which if you are armed, it is by law, They can. For those of you that have kids, please have this conversation with your children. Please have this conversation with your kids. The same way you had the conversation with the kids about what to do if they're pulled over by the police and where to keep their hands on the wheel. I know my dad had that conversation with me a long time ago. Please have this conversation with your kids. And I hear you. Angie said, this is some bullshit. I know, but that's the law. Now, I thought it was interesting that this happened in Ohio, because there's something coming up in Ohio that I think people should see, because I don't like to leave people with just, this is it, and there's nothing that you can do about it. You need to know what you can do about it. This is coming up in Ohio, eliminating qualified immunity for public workers, one step closer to going before the voters. So if you live in Ohio, heads up, a proposed constitutional amendment that would remove qualified immunity protection for public employees, including police and firefighters, has now been approved to become a single ballot issue if it makes it before Ohio voters. This is very important. This is why I tell you, don't stay at home. You do not want to miss these ballot measures. Now, me and friend of the show, Roger Meadows, we knew this was coming up because friend of the show who's been on the show, Cynthia Brown, came on to discuss the Ohio Coalition to End Qualified Immunity. She was on the show before, and they have been working on this for years to end qualified immunity in Ohio. So if you live in Ohio, I just want to let you know there is something you can do. And from what I understand, this unqualified immunity question looks like it probably is going to be on the ballot this year, 2025. So I don't like to leave you with, oh my God, I know the theme is holy crap, and holy crap is right. But do not sleep on that constitutional amendment, which is going to be on the ballot. A lot of people don't know about it because it's not a presidential year. And a lot of times people don't come out to vote during those off seasons. You should still go out and vote for these ballot measures during the off seasons. So that's important. Eric, can you share that with people in the chat when you get a chance to end the Ohio Coalition for Ending Qualified Immunity? And one last word here from the father. And you tell me if you think Rodney Hinton had temporary insanity. Check this out.
We're now getting a closer look at how deputies from Claremont County interacted with Rodney Hinton Jr. You see the video playing out behind me. This is the man accused of killing Deputy Henderson after he was released from the hospital, booked into jail, and later taken to court. WCPO 9 News reporter Sean Delancey breaks down the body cam footage.
Officers and deputies enter a Cincinnati police holding cell where Rodney Hinton Jr. is sleeping.
Wake up. Wake up.
Still in his hospital gown, Claremont County deputies called to bring Hinton to their jail in Batavia, shackle the man accused of killing Hamilton County Sheriff's Deputy Larry Henderson just hours earlier.
Are you going to stand on your own?
Deputies take Hinton to the Claremont County Jail,
Oh, we're going to get this door over here.
where another deputy ran him through a series of questions about his mental and physical state.
I'm going to ask you some questions. Do you have a serious medical or mental health issue that needs immediate attention? Is that a yes or a no? Have you recently considered attempted suicide? No. You want to hurt yourself or anybody else? No.
In court Tuesday, Hinton's defense attorney requested a mental competency evaluation for him. The attorney argued that Hinton was mentally ill at the time. Police say he hit and killed Deputy Larry Henderson with his car.
I want to make certain that this young man is treated as a mentally ill person and not as a cop killer.
An official.
So that's the question. And I have that question for the audience too. I should have created a poll for this. Do you think that he could get temporary insanity plea? That's what his lawyers are trying to push here, right? Now I got to say this. When the Luigi Manion incident happened, and Luigi is alleged, we're still saying alleged, right? I remember warning people that if things don't change within the system, eventually what will happen is that people will take matters into their own hands. And I've said before, I do not advocate for violence on this show. But Luigi Manion, I believe, was just the iceberg. Allegedly, Luigi. That's just the iceberg. When you see that we are living in a country that's known as this empire, and the empire is sinking and it's falling apart, I would say falling into the abyss, I warn you that people would become more dire. There has been so much injustice in the systems that we have in this country. With Luigi Manion, it's the healthcare system. With Rodney Hinton, it's the criminal justice policing and the criminal justice system. We have multiple systems in this country. They operate in different ways, but they all seem to benefit those at the top. And I told you that it was only a matter of time before people realize if these systems are not working for us the way that they're supposed to, that some people would take matter into their own hands. And I think that's what you're seeing happen. I don't know what's going to happen to Rodney Hinton, but it looks like they're trying to go for a temporary insanity plea. But I know one damn thing. This image says a lot of words. I don't see a gun. I see a back that's turned. And I'm also wondering if the gun hit the ground when he fell, how do we even know for sure that he picked it back up? He wasn't the only one in the car. Don't forget that. There were others in the car with him. And who knows, maybe we'll hear from them. Who knows? But holy crap, folks. Holy crap. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.